Good evening, everybody. Representative City Council meeting is now in session. Today is Tuesday, January 18th, 2022. Please rise for the invocation and for the allegiance. Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather together this evening. We ask you to guide us to use the talents that you've given each of us so that we may collectively make prudent decisions for the city of North Ridgeville and its residents. And we ask this in your name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please call the roll.
Swain. Here. Coos.
Here.
Aben.
Here.
Winkle.
Here.
DeVries.
Here.
Awig. Here. Jacobs.
Here.
Mayor.
Here.
Service Director.
Here.
Law Director.
Here.
Engineer.
Here.
Auditor. Here. Clerk of Council. Here.
All right, tonight before us, we have the city council meeting minutes dated January 3rd, 2022. Are there any changes or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, those minutes are approved as submitted. We also have before us tonight the city council organizational meeting minutes dated January 3rd, 2022. Are there any changes or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, those minutes are also approved as submitted. At this time, we will open the lobby session to allow an opportunity for the public to address city council and the city administration. Any audience members who would like an opportunity to speak this evening, we would ask that you please speak at the podium and from the podium only. We will have you start by stating your name and address for the record. And then you will be allowed up to 3 minutes to speak regarding any topic related to the business of city council or the general affairs of the city of North Ridgeville. So at this time, is there anybody who wishes to speak this evening? Okay, sir. From the podium, start by stating your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name's Anthony Canatano. I live at 6627 Larinago Road, North Ridgeville, Ohio. I'd like to address my councilman, Clifford. Okay, I have a few complaints going on. Okay, and then the engineer too. So it might take longer than 3 minutes. Okay. Understand the city of North Ridgeville is going to have a water basin put in for the extra water coming on Larinago Road. I live across the street from the trailer park. Every time there's a major rainstorm, since 1998, we've been flooded out. Typically, I can't get in and out of my property. You guys keep building up on Lorraine Road. You got a highway up there now. You dump all that water into that creek, and that's okay. You keep building up there. You need to stop building up there until you correct the problem. Everybody in this city is aware of Larinago, and I know that's a fact. And if you're not, I'll show you pictures and videos of what's occurring. My next complaint, from what the engineering department told me, they're gonna start clearing trees in 2022 for that runoff, and they're gonna change the way the water goes. And in 2023, it will be complete, supposedly. This is what I've heard from the engineering department, North Ridgeville. Okay. Another complaint is you got trucks going down Larinago Road, and there's a sign at the top of the road, sign at the bottom saying no trucks. There's no way the amount of trucks are going to them businesses that are there right now. Okay, you just have a phenomenal amount of trucks going on Larinago. Another problem you got going on, you guys widen the road and you have turning lanes on Center Ridge with white marks on them. And every time I get down there and get ready to turn right, I gotta look in my right-hand mirror if I'm up past them white lines, because someone's gonna broadside me on the side of the road. You either need to make that a turning lane or put up some kind of strips there to stop it from happening. This is just accidents waiting to happen. You have the same thing on 83 and Center Ridge. It's kind of ridiculous. You'll say ODOT's in charge of that. The city ought to take things into their own hand and handle that, okay? I mean, the bottom line is, we're the residents here. You make the laws. You can make the laws where they're right too. I talked to the police about it. They said, well, they need that wide enough to turn. I was a truck driver. You don't need it that wide to turn. Okay, they can't tell me what they needed because it's not there. Okay, they got plenty of room to turn. Stop the traffic on Larinago, the truck traffic. It was not a commercial road when I moved there. Okay, and you have that road as a commercial road now for truck traffic constantly. You don't believe me? Stop down there by the Mexican restaurant one day and just count the trucks go by. Nothing happens. They just keep on coming. Up on Lorraine, you have a sign that says no trucks. Nothing's occurring. I talked to the tax department. They raised my.
With respect to your 3 minutes as it lasts.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Winkle.
I'd like to move to a lot more time. Second, up to 3 minutes.
Can I have another 3 minutes?
It was moved by Winkle, seconded by Boost to allow you to speak for another 3 minutes. All in favor, say yes.
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 All opposed? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, on the water problem, okay? If you go to sell your property, you must disclose if you have a problem with your property. I'm not a real estate agent, but I remember signing them disclosure papers. I got a tax bill, they raised my tax bill up. So I went ahead up to the meeting they had, and I says, here's the reasons I don't want you raising my taxes. I have to disclose this, that my house is being flooded out every time it rains. The whole front of the house. And they said, well, that's okay, it don't matter. And I'm like, oh, but you can raise my taxes, but you're not taking care of a problem. Bottom line, it's wrong. As far as I'm concerned, you should be doing no more building up on Lorraine Road until you correct the problem of the water problem. Because now you've got more parking lots going in, and all them parking lots drain into that creek in front of my house. That's about it. Handle the problems we have in this city. Turning lane, creek problem. The taxes, I'll deal with the tax department myself. Okay, but we can't keep developing this city and allowing the flooding that occurs. It just don't flood at my place. It was flooding all over the city, different places. This has been going on since 1998. That's how long I've lived there. Nothing, all you do is get an engineer, a couple guys come up from the city, they look at the problem. Yeah, we're working on it. Yeah, we're working on it. How would you like to be able to live in your house and then all of a sudden it rains hard and you can't leave because you can't cross the bridge? Not a good thing. As far as I'm concerned, there ought to be, what's the word they call when you can't build up anymore until you correct the problem? Up on Lorraine, you guys are building more coffee shops up there. That water is going to run off into that creek. That's where it goes. And when that happens, already at the trailer park, it goes across the street, it shuts down the road every time. What happens on ambulances and all that? When they got to go through that? Not a good thing. Correct the problem. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you taking the time to be here tonight to share thoughts and concerns with us. Is there anybody else in the audience who would like an opportunity to speak? Sir?
Good job.
As I stated earlier, if you could please start by stating your name and address for the record.
Yes, my name is Michael T. Murray. I live at 6760 South Larinago Road, North Ridgeville, Ohio. I lived there for 66 years. I would like to address this council and make aware and expound upon what my neighbor has stated. about this flooding situation. Now, just so council and government knows, and they can look at this in the record books. The creek over which, well, it's called a creek, over which my driveway is so that I can access my home. That creek was previously known as Stetson Ditch. It was a pig farm. That's all on the original maps. Now, I don't know about the council or anyone else, but a pig or a ditch is not something that carries a lot of water. It's not a conduit that can carry tens of thousands of gallons. Okay, but here's my issue. This is what it's doing. I've got photographic evidence to substantiate what my neighbor Tony has already outlined. This flooding, it goes clear up and over the highway bridges that were put in after they've been so eloquently engineered when they widened Lernagle Road. Now, why on God's green earth was that bridge made at the size it was? We've got all kinds of flooding problems. To add to what my friend Tony has said. Now these, we put Lernagle Road in. We've had an existing problem since I would say probably around the 70s with flooding issues. We widened Lernagle Road. Hey, that was a great idea. What was the engineering behind it? I'd really like to know. Because what did we do? We took our stormwater drains on this widened road. And what did we do? We just put those drains and added to an existing problem. That pipe work goes directly to the creek, which has been flooding for decades. Please forgive my anger about this, but I am livid. There's no simple way that this should be permitted. I don't know what engineering has done and how it was approved. Forgive me for this outburst, but I am livid. Now, all of these problems have been added to, as Tony so eloquently placed, about all this flooding from Lorraine Road. Well, the topographical maps will illustrate that this flooding goes from Stearns Road in North Olmsted, Cuyahoga County, west. You can check my data, it's right.
So if you don't mind just pausing for a minute, you have your 3 minutes have
Mr.
elapsed.
President.
Well, may I continue?
Move that another 3 minutes.
Second,
Up to an additional 3 minutes.
thank
Okay, so
you.
it's moved by Winkle and seconded by Booth to add 3 minutes to the gentleman. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. Okay, go ahead, thank you.
Thank you. When I was growing up back in the 60s, we used to ice skate on this ditch. It was not a problem. But now this flooding has destroyed my bridge that allows me to get my car into my garage. This bridge was built in 1950. I've heard arguments that, oh my God, the bridge is old, it's deteriorated. My grandfather built this bridge in 1950. He used concrete blocks very solidly, right upon bedrock. This bedrock, the last force it has seen was the North American glacier. I've got the scars on the bedrock to prove it. Now, all of this is old. It's since 1950. It's time to be replaced. This is an argument I hear from the people that have come out to look at it. Hey, look, my home was built upon the same bricks, which had been established upon the same bedrock. The underside of my home has no problems with the blocks. There's no cracking. I've got plaster walls with no cracking. Now the same rain that comes down is affecting them equally. But this bridge is going to cost $30,000 to replace. Why should that burden have to be placed upon the current homeowner, which is me? Why should that have to happen? All of these problems have been created by government poor design. governmental poor design, I should say. Not to mention all of the added problems which have just been exponentially increased by all of the abuses from other governments, adjoining governments, Cuyahoga County. Well, let's just dump it into that creek. It's a convenient place to dispose of it. I've been hearing songs and dances about retention bases being built. My God, what does it take? The Starbach property up there, south of Chestnut Ridge has been for sale for years. Oh, we've got all kinds of signs, we've got promises. I've heard promises up by Dupa, forgive me. I'm sick and tired of hearing all of these governmental wherewithals about how to shut this guy up. This is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. It's about time that the people that are elected officials start recognizing that the people at the bottom have a voice. And we need to have these problems taken care of. There was a time when we had stormwater. We had to get rid of stormwater. What we did, we put in storm sewers, huge concrete sewers, which would not be drained into an existing waterway. Instead, we dump it in the creek. I'm at a loss. We need to be able to address this and address it right. Now, I was over my next door neighbors, Jim Hales. He's got the same problem with his bridge being destroyed, his driveway bridge. Now, Gail Manning called him while I was over there, and she illustrated to us that there are millions of dollars of funding. At the state level, it's available to the cities for existing problems and mismanagement of engineering. Now, no one wants to say, oh yeah, I screwed up. Well, it's about time people start admitting their wrongs. I'm serious about this, I really am. Because hey, I'm at my wit's end. Like Tony so eloquently put it, he's got to make a disclosure when he wants to sell his property. So do I, so does Jim Hales. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to attend tonight. But the same problems exist. Please, folks, come to the back of us and start to work for us instead of being on the side of people that maybe don't want to do it. Recognize it, please. I really appreciate any kind of help you can provide to us. And Gail Manning is our representative at the state level. Please contact her. Please do what you can. I implore you and pray for you to do that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Murray,
Thank you.
for being here tonight and for sharing with us. Is there anybody else with us this evening who would like an opportunity to speak? Okay, hearing none, then we'll move on from the lobby session to administrative reports. Mr. Mayor, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Park and Recreation Department is looking for some feedback. We have a survey on our city's website. They are looking to find out whether the public would enjoy the tri-annual program guide, whether they'd like that in the digital only format. It's a simple one question survey. If you can go on there, the survey will be live until the end of the month and give us your feedback. Also, there's a firefighter paramedic Class C exam coming up. You can find out more information about that exam on our city's website under the Civil Service tab. And that application for that test is due by January 28th. And then finally, there is a spaghetti dinner also on Friday, January 28th. It is from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Senior Center. There's takeout available if you don't want to eat in person. Tickets are $7 an adult, $6 for seniors, and soda and dessert is extra if you'd like to partake. But always a good time, always a good meal. Come on out and join us. And that concludes my report. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Safety Service Director.
Well, we had our first substantial snowstorm over the weekend, coming on Sunday and Monday. And to the chagrin, we had it on a holiday, which one side says that's a great thing. The other side said, well, we didn't have to go to work, so we didn't have to drive in the snow. But actually coming in from here on Monday morning, had to go over to the east side. The state of Ohio had one lane on Route 2 open. Route 57, they had one lane to get to the turnpike. We had 2 lanes on the turnpike, and I got to North Ridgeville, and I had 2 lanes in North Ridgeville. They did a great job. We did get some complaints, one of those being on cul-de-sac streets, which I live on. And quite honestly, I got probably a 12-foot pile of snow up in my front yard, which is great because the kids next door have fun sledding down it. Than the old times, and I think you can understand that, living here 68 years, I believe. And we've had other complaints that people don't want the snow in their front yard, but unfortunately, when you're in a cul-de-sac, you have to plow the snow someplace, and we just can't pick it up with front end loaders and take it away. So bear with us. It'll be raining probably tomorrow. The snow's going to go away. And it's not there permanently, but our crews did a great job over the weekend in comparison to what I had on 480 going all the way over to the east side. It only had one lane open on 482 in the same time period. That concludes my report. Great job, guys and ladies.
Thank you, Mr. Safety Service Director. Mr. Engineer.
Thank you, Council President. Just 2 quick updates. Our Center Ridge Road Sanitary Sewer Extension Project, we had a pre-con meeting on January 4th. Contractor provided us a tentative start date of February 1st and a substantial completion date of June 1st for that project. So that'll be starting here in a couple of weeks. And our Mills Creek Water Main Rehabilitation Project, we had a pre-con for that project January 13th, and the contractor provided us a tentative start date of May 2nd and a substantial completion of July 31st. Reason being is that there's a 3 to 4 month lag time on our materials for that job, the mechanical joint fittings and the hydrants. So we're going to be looking at some of our future projects to get those underway sooner so that we can get anything water related anyways, get our hydrants and fittings ordered sooner. That concludes my report for this evening.
Mr. Engineer. Ms. Auditor.
Thank you, Council President. Before Council tonight are just a few pieces of financial legislation. I'd like to go over a few of those and ask that Council consider adopting these items with the emergency clause to allow us to meet some deadlines. T3, which is a resolution accepting the amounts and rates established by the Lorraine County Budget Commission. Late last year in October, there was a resolution before council for a similar purpose. The reason why this is before you again is due to the levy that was passed for the police station. This has been added, and so now we're asking council to authorize and accept the amounts and rates that have been added. I would like to ask council to consider passing this, adopting and passing with the emergency clause tonight so we can meet the Lorraine County auditor's deadline. T5, 6, and 7 do not require adoption tonight or the emergency clause. T8, which is the issuance of bonds. That is for, again, the police station and adjacent storage facility. I would like to ask council to consider adopting this tonight with the emergency clause so that the city can meet our bond issuance deadline. T9 through 11 are the issuance of bond anticipation notes. These notes are basically a roll. These projects were initiated in 2020 and debt issued for those purposes. We are now just paying off a portion of these notes and reissuing the remaining portions. Again, I'd like to ask council to consider adopting this legislation and adding the emergency clause so we can meet the note issuance deadline. Lastly, tonight there will be a resolution introduced on the floor. It is a then and now. This is another instance where I would like to ask council to consider adopting with the emergency clause. This invoice is for the French Creek wastewater treatment plant annual discharge fee. This is due to the Ohio EPA, and the deadline is January 30th, 2022. So to avoid risking that permit to lapse, I would like to ask that that be considered as well. And that concludes my report.
Mr. President, while we're at this moment, I'd like to, I'll make a motion to dispense with the bylaws to allow T12 and T13 first reading this evening.
By the mayor, seconded by Bruce, to dispense with the bylaws and add both T12 and T13 to tonight's agenda under first readings. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. Okay, T12 and T13 will both be added under first readings. Under other reports, tonight we have the December 2021 Mayor's Court Report, the December 2021 Fire Department Report, the December 2021 Building Department Report, the December 2021 Police Department Report, and the 2021 Treasurer Report. All right, that'll bring us to the recess portion of our meeting.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Lewis.
make a motion to dispense with recess.
Second.
It was moved by Boost, seconded by Winkle to dispense with recess. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. Okay, we will skip recess and move on to first readings. Clerk, please read T3.
T3 2022. A resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Booth.
make a motion to dispense with the second and third reads.
Second.
It was moved by Boost, seconded by DeVries to dispense with the second and third readings for T3. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no.
Mr. President, make a motion to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, make a motion to add the emergency so that we can meet the Lorraine County auditor deadline.
It was moved by Booth, seconded by DeVries to add the emergency clause to T3 for the reasons stated by Mr. Booth. On that emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes. All opposed, say no. It was then moved by Booth and seconded by DeVries to adopt T3 with that emergency clause in place. This time, are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swain,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Avon,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Haywood,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
The resolution passes unanimously and becomes 1552, 2022.
T4.
T4, PID number 110809, project name DO3GR FY 2023 NHS. An ordinance cooperating with the Director of the Ohio Department of Transportation to perform guardrail upgrades east of the Ohio Turnpike on US 20, north of the Ohio Turnpike on State Route 83, and over State Route 10 on State Route 83.
T5.
T5 2022, an ordinance establishing the police station debt service bond retirement fund.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
move to amend T5.
Second.
There's a version in front of you that has it changed to section 1.
Okay, it was moved by the mayor and seconded by DeVries to amend T5 to the version in front of you. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed? Okay, T5 has been amended. T6.
T6, 2022, an ordinance establishing the police station construction fund.
T7.
T7, 2022, an ordinance establishing the senior center construction fund.
T8.
T8, 2022, an ordinance providing for the issuance and sale of bonds in the maximum aggregate principal amount of $12,500,000 to provide funds for the purpose of construction, furnishing, equipping, and otherwise improving a new police station and adjacent storage facility for evidence and police equipment, and preparing, equipping, and otherwise providing their site. Improving their site.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Freed.
move to dispense with the second and third reading.
Second.
It was moved by DeVries and seconded by Booth to dispense with the second and third readings for T8. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no.
Mr. President, move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, I move to add the emergency clause T8 2022 for the immediate preservation of public health and safety and welfare of the city, and for further reasons that this ordinance is required to be immediately effective in order to issue and sell the bonds, which is necessary to enable the city to take advantage of favorable market conditions and to enable the city to timely enter into and meet its obligations under contracts for the improvements described in section 2, which are urgently needed to enhance the facilities and support the operations of the city's police department, and thereby to promote the safety of the persons of the property.
Second.
It was moved by DeVries, seconded by Booth to add the emergency clause to T8 for the reasons stated by Mr. DeVries. On that emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was then moved by DeVries and seconded by Booth to adopt T8 with that emergency clause in place. At this time, are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swain. Yes. Booth.
Yes.
Aben.
Yes.
Wingo.
Yes.
DeVries.
Yes.
Awig. Yes. Jacobs.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously and becomes 5893, 2022.
T9.
T9, 2022, an ordinance providing for the issuance and sale of $1,400,000 of notes in anticipation of issuance of bonds to provide funds to pay costs for renovating, remodeling, adding to, furnishing, equipping, and otherwise improving the city's fire station number 2 and improving its site, together with the necessary appurtenances to work incidental thereto.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Freed.
move to dispense with the second and third reading.
Second.
It was moved by DeVries, seconded by Booth to dispense with the second and third readings for T9. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr.
move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr.
move to add the emergency clause. I move to add the emergency clause to T9 2022 for immediate preservation of public health, safety, and welfare of the city. And for the further reasons that this ordinance is required to be effective in order to issue and sell notes, which is necessary to enable the city to retire the outstanding note at its maturity and thereby preserve the credit of the city.
Second.
It was moved by DeVries, seconded by Booth to add the emergency clause to T9 for the reasons stated by Mr. DeVries. On that emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was then moved by DeVries and seconded by Booth to adopt T9 with the emergency clause in place. This time, are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swain. Yes. Booth.
Yes.
Avon.
Yes.
Winkle.
Yes.
DeVries.
Yes.
Awig. Yes. Jacobs.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously and becomes 5894, 2022.
T10.
T10, 2022, an ordinance providing for the issuance and sale of 1,135,000 of notes in anticipation of the issuance of bonds to provide funds to pay cost of improving an extension of Ranger Way, Bainbridge Road, and realign Kensington Drive between certain termini.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. DeVries.
move to dispense with the second and third reading.
Second.
It was moved by DeVries and seconded by Booth to dispense with the second and third readings for T10. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. DeVries.
move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, I move to add the emergency clause T10 2022 for the immediate preservation of public health, safety, and welfare of the city. And for the further reasons that this ordinance is required to be immediately effective in order to issue and to sell the notes, which is necessary to enable the city to retire outstanding notes at its maturity and thereby preserve the credit of the city.
Second.
Okay, it was moved by DeVries and seconded by Booth to add the emergency clause to T10 for the reasons stated by Mr. DeVries. On that emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. It was then moved by DeVries and seconded by Booth to adopt T10 with that emergency clause in place. At this time, are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swank.
Yes.
Booth.
Yes.
Avon.
Yes.
Winkle.
Yes.
DeVries.
Yes.
Awig. Yes. Jacobs.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously and becomes 5895, 2022.
T11.
T11, 2022, an ordinance providing for the issuance and sale of 280,000 of notes in anticipation of the issuance of bonds to provide funds to pay costs of improving Chestnut Ridge Road and alternate State Route 83 at their intersection by clearing, grading, and otherwise preparing the surface, constructing a roundabout and related curbs, gutters, storm sewers, and other drainage improvements, surfacing and resurfacing, and installing street lighting, signage, and resurfacing, signage and landscaping and related decorative paving together with necessary appurtenances and work incidental thereto.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. DeVries.
move to dispense with the second and third reading.
Second.
It was moved by DeVries and seconded by Avens to dispense with the second and third readings for T11. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, say no.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. DeVries.
I move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, I move to add the emergency clause to T11 2022 for the immediate preservation of public health, safety, and welfare of the city. For the further reasons that this ordinance is required to be immediately effective in order to issue and sell notes, which is necessary to enable the city to retire outstanding notes at its maturity and thereby preserve the credit of the city.
Second.
It was moved by DeVries, seconded by Avens to add the emergency clause to T11 for the reasons stated by Mr. DeVries. On that emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes. All opposed say no. It was then moved by DeVries, seconded by Avens to adopt T11 with the emergency clause in place. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swank.
Yes.
Booth.
Yes.
Avon.
Yes.
Winkle.
Yes.
DeVries.
Yes.
Awig. Yes. Jacobs.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously and becomes 5896, 2022.
T12.
T12, 2022, an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of North Ridgeville to purchase a new ambulance medic unit and auxiliary equipment for the fire department from the state bid list or state co-op, or to advertise for bids and enter into a contract with outside vendors according to law and in a manner prescribed by law, not to exceed $350,000.
Mr. President,
Yes, Ms. Banks?
I'm just curious if this is time sensitive.
I believe that it is. With regard to the life pack.
Yeah. It's the president. So this is replacing an older unit, and we had talked about this at appropriations. There is an opportunity for us to save some money on life packs, which is one of those auxiliary equipments that's listed in the title of the ordinance. When we're trading in the existing life pack, we would get the new version for essentially half price. That offer is only good until the end of this month. So if this is not passed with the emergency, then we will not be able to save that money, which is why we're asking for the emergency tonight.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr.
I heard from Chief Reese earlier today, and he mentioned the packet we'll be trading in is 9 years old, which is considerably outdated for what, the purpose is intended for.
Sure.
And he mentioned also the same deadline. And as mentioned by the mayor, this was mentioned in appropriations. We've had that 3-year cycle for our ambulances and repairs. So it is something we have planned for.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Ravens.
question to the auditor. If I'm not mistaken, during appropriations, we actually appropriated 250,000. The extra 100,000 is something on the news side that wasn't planned for at that point. And my question is, we do have that money someplace else in order to put it into this particular ordinance.
Through the chair to
Yes, I'm sorry.
Councilman Evans. We actually appropriated 280,000 during appropriations, and yes, there are funds available that we earmarked for this purpose in the paramedic fund.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Bruce.
I'll make a motion to dispense with the second and third readings.
Second,
It was moved by Booth, seconded by DeVries to dispense with the second and third readings for T12. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no.
Mr. President, make a motion to adopt.
second,
Mr. President, I make a motion to add the emergency so that we can make the deadline and save the city's money.
second,
It was moved by Booth, seconded by DeVries to add the emergency clause to T12 for the reasons stated by Mr. Booth. That emergency clause alone, all in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. It was then moved by Booth, seconded by DeVries to adopt T12 with the emergency clause in place. At this time, are there any further comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swain,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Haven,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
DeVries,
yes,
Haywood,
Yes.
Jacob.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously and becomes 5897, 2022.
Point of order, this is a resolution. I'm sorry. Board of stripping.
All right, T13.
T13, 2022. A resolution to authorize the execution of then and now certificates by the fiscal officer and payment of amounts due for various purchase orders.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. DeVries.
to dispense with the second and third reading.
Second.
It's moved by DeVries and seconded by Winkle to dispense with the second and third readings for T13. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. DeVries.
move to adopt.
Second.
President moves to add the emergency clause. I meet the timelines described by our auditor moments earlier.
Second.
It was moved by DeVries, seconded by Winkle to add the emergency clause to T13 to meet the deadlines as stated by the auditor. On that emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was then moved by DeVries and seconded by Winkle to adopt T13 with the emergency clause in place. Are there any comments or questions? Clerk, please call the roll.
Swain,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Avon,
Yes.
Wingo,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
Jacob.
Yes.
The resolution passes unanimously and becomes 1553-2022.
Okay, we have no second readings tonight. We have some third readings. T-157.
T 157-2021, an ordinance amending NRCO section 1060.10, certification of delinquent accounts to county auditor for collection.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Ravens.
move to adopt.
Second.
It was moved by Avon, seconded by Swing to adopt T-157, 2021. At this time, are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swain,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Avon,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
Jacob.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously and becomes 5898-2022.
T-158.
T 158-2021, an ordinance amending NRCO section 1058.11, billing and collection.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Ravens.
move to adopt.
Second.
It was moved by Avon, seconded by Swing to adopt T-158. This time, are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swain,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Avon,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously and becomes 5899-2021. I'm sorry, 2022.
Do you have a 5897?
5897.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, T12.
T-159.
T 159-2021, an ordinance amending NRCO section 1044.01, user charges sewer.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Winkle.
move to adopt.
Been moved by Winkle, seconded by Awig to adopt T-159. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swain,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Avon,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously and becomes 5900-2022.
The next regular council meeting will be held on Monday, February 7th, 2022, here in City Council Chambers at 7 p.m. This time, are there any final comments or questions? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, folks.